Hello everyone, and welcome back to Body Revival. It's always a pleasure to have you with us, and I want to extend a huge thank you to all of you who have been following our journey to better health. If you're new here, or if you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of our valuable health videos designed to help you live your best life. Today we're diving deep into a topic that touches nearly every one of us, especially as we navigate the second half of our lives, sleep. More specifically, we're going to talk about something you can do before bed, if you're over 50, that can radically transform your nights and help you sleep like a baby. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, sleep? I've been sleeping my whole life, what's so special about it now? Well, the truth is, as we age, our sleep patterns and needs change significantly, and often not for the better. This isn't just about feeling a bit tired the next day. Chronic sleep deprivation, especially for those over 50, can have profound impacts on our public health and our daily lives, far beyond what most people realize. It affects everything from our cognitive function and mood to our immune system and chronic disease risk. Think about it, how many times have you heard someone say, "I just can't sleep like I used to"? Or, "I wake up feeling more tired than when I went to bed." It's a pervasive issue, and it's one that often goes unaddressed, simply because many people assume it's an inevitable part of aging. But it doesn't have to be. We're here to tell you that there are actionable steps you can take, starting tonight, to reclaim your restful nights. Let's look at some eye-opening statistics to underscore just how critical this topic is. According to the National Sleep Foundation, adults aged 65 and older are more likely to experience sleep disturbances, with up to 50% reporting difficulty sleeping. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, reports that insufficient sleep is a public health problem, and it's linked to an increased risk of chronic conditions like diabetes, heart disease, obesity, and depression. Furthermore, a study published in the journal Sleep found that older adults with chronic insomnia have a significantly higher risk of falls and impaired daily functioning. We're not just talking about feeling groggy, we're talking about a tangible impact on quality of life, independence, and even longevity. Imagine the ripple effect this has: decreased productivity at work, increased healthcare costs, a higher incidence of accidents, and a general decline in overall well-being. These aren't just numbers, they represent millions of individuals struggling silently in the dark, night after night. But it doesn't have to be this way. We're going to equip you with the knowledge and the tools to combat these challenges, to truly understand what's happening to your body as you age, and how to proactively address it. So, stick with us, because what we're about to share could be the key to unlocking the restorative sleep you've been dreaming of, leading to a more vibrant, energetic, and healthier you. This isn't about quick fixes. It's about understanding your body and making informed choices that will benefit you for years to come. Let's dive into the specifics, starting with the signs and symptoms that often indicate a problem with sleep as we get older. One of the first signs that many people over 50 notice, and often dismiss, is difficulty falling asleep. You might find yourself tossing and turning for what feels like hours, your mind racing, unable to quiet down. This isn't just a random occurrence, it's a very common manifestation of age-related sleep changes. One of the primary causes for this is a shift in our body's natural sleep-wake cycle, our circadian rhythm. As we age, our internal clock can become less robust, meaning it's not as effective at signaling to our body when it's time to wind down for sleep. This can be exacerbated by a decrease in melatonin production, the hormone that helps regulate sleep. For example, you might be someone who used to fall asleep the moment your head hit the pillow, but now, even if you feel tired, your body just won't cooperate. You lie there, replaying conversations from the day, worrying about tomorrow's to-do list, or simply staring at the ceiling. The consequence of this, if not addressed early, is a growing sense of frustration and anxiety around bedtime. This anxiety itself can then become a vicious cycle, making it even harder to fall asleep the next night. Over time, this chronic sleep-onset insomnia can lead to daytime fatigue, irritability, and a diminished ability to concentrate, affecting everything from your work performance to your enjoyment of hobbies. It can also weaken your immune system, making you more susceptible to illnesses, and even impact your metabolism, potentially contributing to weight gain. Another crucial indicator that your sleep might be off kilter as you age is frequent awakenings during the night. You might fall asleep relatively easily, but then find yourself waking up multiple times, perhaps to use the restroom, or for no apparent reason at all, and then struggling to get back to sleep. This fragmentation of sleep is incredibly common in older adults and significantly reduces the quality of your rest. The causes are multifaceted. Beyond the natural weakening of our sleep architecture, which leads to lighter, more easily disturbed sleep, various physiological changes contribute. Bladder changes, for instance, can lead to nocturia, the need to urinate frequently at night. Pain from conditions like arthritis, restless leg syndrome, or even acid reflux can also interrupt sleep. Consider the example of someone who has managed their arthritis pain well during the day with medication, but as the evening wears on, the pain flares up, jarring them awake at 2 a.m. Or perhaps someone with mild acid reflux who suddenly finds themselves waking with a burning sensation in their chest. If these frequent awakenings aren't addressed, the cumulative effect is a severe deficit in restorative sleep. Your body doesn't get enough time in the deeper stages of sleep, like slow wave sleep and REM sleep, which are crucial for physical repair, memory consolidation, and emotional regulation. This can lead to persistent daytime fatigue, impaired cognitive function, and an increased risk of accidents due to sleepiness. It can also exacerbate underlying health conditions and contribute to a general feeling of being unwell, perpetually tired, and run down. The constant disruption prevents your body from truly recharging, leaving you in a state of chronic exhaustion, which then impacts your mood, your relationships, and your overall capacity to enjoy life. Moving on, a very common, yet often overlooked, sign is waking up too early and being unable to go back to sleep. This is distinct from frequent awakenings in that you might sleep for a decent block of time, say 4 or 5 hours, but then wake up in the pre-dawn hours 3 a.m. 4 a.m. and despite feeling tired, your brain simply switches on, refusing to let you drift back off. This early morning awakening is a classic symptom of age-related sleep changes and can also be a red flag for underlying issues like depression or anxiety. Again, the shifting circadian rhythm plays a role here. Your body might mistakenly believe it's time to start the day. Other factors include hormonal changes, such as a decline in growth hormone, which is often released during deep sleep. Imagine someone who used to sleep soundly until 7 a.m., but now consistently wakes at 4:30 a.m., their mind immediately jumping to the day's tasks or worries, making it impossible to return to sleep. They might get up, make coffee, and start their day far earlier than they need to, but without truly feeling rested. The consequences of this type of sleep disruption are significant. Even if you got a few hours of initial sleep, losing those crucial early morning hours means you're missing out on vital REM sleep, which is concentrated in the latter part of the night and is essential for emotional processing, learning, and dreaming. Chronic early morning awakenings contribute to daytime sleepiness, decreased mental acuity, and a heightened risk of mood disorders. It can also lead to a feeling of constantly being on edge or irritable, impacting your social interactions and overall quality of life. This consistent lack of full, restorative sleep chips away at your resilience, leaving you more vulnerable to stress and illness. Another key point to observe, especially if you're over 50, is daytime fatigue or excessive sleepiness, even after what you perceive as a full night's sleep. This isn't just a momentary slump. It's a persistent feeling of being tired, sluggish, and unable to focus throughout the day, often accompanied by an urge to nap. The causes here can be complex, ranging from inadequate sleep duration or quality as discussed with frequent awakenings, and early morning waking to underlying medical conditions that become more prevalent with age. Obstructive sleep apnea, or OSA, is a significant culprit, where breathing repeatedly stops and starts during sleep. As we age, the tissues in our throat can relax more, making us more susceptible to OSA. Other conditions like an underactive thyroid anemia, chronic pain, or even certain medications can contribute to this pervasive daytime tiredness. For example, consider a seemingly healthy individual in their 60s who reports getting 8 hours of sleep, but constantly feels like they could fall asleep at their desk, during a conversation, or even while driving. They might be unaware that they're experiencing hundreds of micro-awakenings throughout the night due to sleep apnea, or that their sleep is incredibly light and fragmented, preventing true restoration. The consequences of persistent daytime fatigue are profound and far-reaching. It significantly impairs cognitive function, leading to difficulty concentrating, memory problems, and slower reaction times. This increases the risk of accidents, particularly car accidents for older drivers. It also impacts work performance, makes daily tasks feel like a monumental effort, and can lead to social withdrawal. Furthermore, chronic fatigue can worsen existing health conditions, contribute to weight gain, and elevate the risk of developing new chronic diseases due to the body constantly being in a state of stress. It erodes your motivation and enjoyment of life, creating a cycle of decreased activity and increased sedentary behavior. Closely related to daytime fatigue, but with a distinct manifestation, is difficulty concentrating or memory problems. While some age-related cognitive decline is normal, significant issues with focus, attention span, or recalling information could be a direct consequence of poor sleep. Our brains rely on sleep, particularly deep sleep and REM sleep, for processes like memory consolidation, learning, and clearing out metabolic waste products. When these sleep stages are disrupted, cognitive function suffers. The causes often tie back to the fragmented and non-restorative sleep we've already discussed, whether due to insomnia, sleep apnea, or other sleep disorders. For instance, you might find yourself forgetting where you put your keys more often, struggling to follow complex conversations, or having trouble learning new skills. This isn't just senior moments. It's a consistent pattern of cognitive impairment that wasn't present before. Imagine someone trying to learn a new computer program or remember the names of new acquaintances, but their brain feels foggy and unresponsive. They might get frustrated and give up, attributing it to age rather than recognizing it as a sleep issue. The consequences of unaddressed cognitive decline due to poor sleep can be severe. It impacts your independence, making it harder to manage finances, remember appointments, or navigate unfamiliar places. It can contribute to a loss of self-confidence and increase feelings of isolation. In severe cases, Chronic sleep deprivation has even been linked to an increased risk of developing neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, although more research is needed to fully understand this complex relationship. Effectively, your brain isn't getting the nightly reset. It needs to function optimally, leading to a gradual decline in its capabilities. Another sign to pay close attention to if you're over 50 and struggling with sleep is increased irritability, mood swings, or symptoms of depression or anxiety. Sleep isn't just for physical restoration, it's absolutely vital for emotional regulation and mental well-being. When you consistently don't get enough quality sleep, your emotional resilience diminishes, making you more prone to feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, and sad. The causes are rooted in the brain's inability to properly process emotions and manage stress without adequate rest. Sleep deprivation affects the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making and emotional control, making you more reactive and less able to cope with daily stressors. It also impacts neurotransmitters like serotonin, which plays a key role in mood. Consider the example of someone who was generally even-tempered but now finds themselves easily annoyed by small things, snapping at loved ones, or feeling a pervasive sense of gloom. They might dismiss it as just getting older, or stress, when in reality, their chronic sleep debt is a major contributing factor. The consequences of this go beyond personal discomfort. It strains relationships with family and friends, impacts your ability to enjoy social activities, and can lead to a significant decline in overall quality of life. Chronic sleep-related mood disturbances can also exacerbate existing mental health conditions or, in some cases, even trigger new ones. It becomes a vicious cycle. Poor sleep worsens mood, and a low mood can make it even harder to fall asleep. This can lead to a downward spiral, where individuals feel increasingly hopeless and isolated, further impacting their motivation to address their sleep issues. A less obvious, but equally important sign of sleep troubles for those over 50 is a decrease in overall energy levels and motivation to engage in activities you once enjoyed. This isn't just about feeling tired, it's about a profound lack of vitality and enthusiasm for life. You might find yourself canceling plans, opting out of hobbies, or generally becoming more sedentary because the energy simply isn't there. The causes for this often stem from the chronic physical and mental fatigue that accumulates from poor sleep. Your body isn't getting the chance to repair and recharge, and your brain isn't getting the rest it needs to produce the necessary neurotransmitters for motivation and drive. This can be compounded by other age-related factors like reduced physical activity, but sleep disruption is frequently a major, unacknowledged contributor. Think of a retired individual who used to enjoy gardening, playing golf, or spending time with grandchildren, but now finds themselves spending most of their day on the couch, feeling too drained to participate in these activities. They might attribute it to just getting old, when in fact, a few good nights of restorative sleep could significantly boost their energy and desire to be active. The consequences here are a significant reduction in quality of life and social engagement. Loss of motivation can lead to social isolation, a decline in physical fitness, and a general feeling of stagnation. It can also exacerbate feelings of depression and anxiety, as individuals become less engaged with the world around them. This downward spiral of decreased activity and reduced enjoyment ultimately accelerates the aging process and diminishes overall well-being, making it harder to maintain a healthy and active lifestyle. Another crucial point often observed in those experiencing sleep issues over 50 is increased frequency of physical ailments or a weaker immune system. You might find yourself catching colds more often, taking longer to recover from illnesses, or experiencing more aches and pains than usual. Sleep plays a fundamental role in bolstering our immune system and facilitating the body's repair processes. When you're sleep deprived, your body produces fewer cytokines, which are proteins that target infection and inflammation, creating a weaker defense against pathogens. Additionally, lack of sleep can increase inflammation throughout the body, exacerbating conditions like arthritis or chronic pain. For example, someone who normally breezes through cold and flu season might suddenly find themselves battling every bug that comes around, experiencing more severe symptoms, and taking weeks to feel better. Or perhaps they notice their chronic back pain feels significantly worse after a night of tossing and turning, rather than a night of deep, restorative sleep. The consequences of this weakened immunity and increased inflammation are substantial. You become more susceptible to infections, both minor and severe, leading to more frequent doctor visits and potentially longer recovery times. Chronic inflammation can contribute to the development and progression of various age-related diseases, including cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and certain cancers. It can also worsen existing chronic conditions, making pain management more challenging and generally reducing your physical resilience and ability to bounce back from illness or injury. Essentially, your body's natural healing and protective mechanisms are significantly compromised, leaving you vulnerable. Now, let's talk about something that often goes hand in hand with poor sleep, especially as we age: unexplained weight gain or difficulty losing weight, despite no significant changes in diet or exercise. This can be incredibly frustrating for many people who are trying to maintain a healthy weight. The connection between sleep and metabolism is profound and often underestimated. When you're sleep deprived, your body experiences hormonal imbalances that directly impact appetite and fat storage. Specifically, levels of leptin, the hormone that signals fullness, decrease, while levels of ghrelin, the hormone that stimulates hunger, increase. This means you feel hungrier and less satisfied, often leading to cravings for high carbohydrate, sugary foods. Additionally, lack of sleep can increase cortisol levels, the stress hormone, which promotes fat storage, particularly around the abdomen. Imagine someone diligently counting calories and exercising regularly, yet they find the numbers on the scale steadily creeping up, or they hit a plateau they can't seem to overcome. They might be unaware that their chronic poor sleep is sabotaging their efforts. This isn't about willpower, it's about physiological responses to sleep deprivation. The consequences of persistent weight gain, particularly abdominal obesity, are well documented. It significantly increases your risk of developing type 2 diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, and certain types of cancer. It also puts additional strain on your joints, worsening conditions like arthritis, and can further exacerbate sleep apnea. This creates a vicious cycle where weight gain worsens sleep, which in turn makes weight management even more challenging, leading to a significant negative impact on overall health and longevity. Another critical, and sometimes alarming, sign to watch for if you're over 50 and your sleep isn't what it should be, is an increase in blood pressure or difficulty managing existing hypertension. There's a very direct and well-established link between sleep and cardiovascular health. During sleep, your blood pressure naturally dips, allowing your heart and blood vessels to rest. This is known as nocturnal dipping. When sleep is consistently poor, fragmented, or insufficient, this nocturnal dip doesn't occur as effectively, leading to sustained higher blood pressure levels. Furthermore, sleep deprivation activates the sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response, which causes blood vessels to constrict and heart rate to increase, both contributing to elevated blood pressure. Consider someone who has always had well-controlled blood pressure with medication, but suddenly their readings start to climb, or they are newly diagnosed with hypertension, despite maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Their sleep habits might be an underlying, unacknowledged factor. Perhaps they are waking frequently, or their sleep apnea is causing repeated drops in oxygen and surges in blood pressure throughout the night. The consequences of unmanaged or newly developing hypertension are incredibly serious. High blood pressure is a major risk factor for heart attack, stroke, kidney disease, and vision loss. Chronic sleep deprivation, by contributing to elevated blood pressure, significantly increases your risk of these life-threatening cardiovascular events. This direct link between sleep and heart health means that neglecting your sleep can have immediate and long-term detrimental effects on your most vital organs, making it a critical area to address proactively. Finally, one more sign that's often dismissed as a normal part of aging, but can be a direct result of poor sleep, is a general decrease in physical performance and recovery. You might find that your muscles feel sorer for longer after exercise, your endurance isn't what it used to be, or you're just not bouncing back as quickly from physical exertion or minor injuries. Sleep is the body's primary time for repair and regeneration. During deep sleep, the body releases human growth hormone, which is essential for tissue repair, muscle growth, and bone health. Adequate sleep also allows your muscles to recover from the day's activities, reduces inflammation, and restores energy stores. When this process is interrupted or insufficient, your physical capabilities suffer. For example, an active individual over 50 who used to recover quickly from a long walk or a session at the gym might now experience prolonged muscle soreness, fatigue that lingers for days, or just a general sense of physical weakness that makes it harder to stay active. They might find themselves unable to perform at the same level they once did, leading to frustration and potentially a decrease in overall physical activity. The consequences of this reduced physical performance and recovery ability are significant. It can lead to a downward spiral of decreased activity, which then contributes to muscle loss, decreased bone density, and a higher risk of falls and injuries. It impacts your ability to maintain an independent and active lifestyle, making everyday tasks more challenging. Furthermore, poor physical recovery can exacerbate chronic pain and contribute to a feeling of persistent fatigue and lack of energy, reinforcing the cycle of poor sleep and declining health. Essentially, your body isn't getting the vital maintenance it needs each night, leading to a gradual decline in its physical resilience and capacity. So, we've explored the many ways insufficient and poor quality sleep can manifest in individuals over 50. From difficulty falling asleep and frequent awakenings to cognitive decline, mood disturbances, weakened immunity, weight gain, and even increased blood pressure and reduced physical recovery. It's clear that this isn't just about feeling a bit tired, it's about a fundamental impact on your health, your well-being, and your quality of life. But here's the good news: you are not helpless in this. There are powerful, practical steps you can take, starting tonight, to reclaim your restful nights and revitalize your health. This isn't about complex medical procedures or expensive treatments. It's about understanding your body and making informed, consistent choices that support natural, restorative sleep. Let's dive into the solutions and advice, focusing on actionable strategies you can implement right away. The first, and perhaps most fundamental, piece of advice, the TS, we alluded to in the title, is optimizing your sleep environment. This might sound simple, but its impact is profound, especially as we age and become more sensitive to external disturbances. Before bed, truly assess your bedroom. Is it dark enough? Even small amounts of light, from digital clocks to street lights filtering through curtains, can disrupt melatonin production. Consider investing in blackout curtains or even an eye mask. The effect of a truly dark room is that your brain gets a clear signal that it's nighttime, aiding in the release of sleep-inducing hormones. Is it quiet enough? Noise, even at low levels, can fragment sleep. If you live in a noisy area, consider earplugs or a white noise machine. The steady hum of a white noise machine can mask sudden disruptive sounds, creating a more consistent auditory environment conducive to sleep. The important note here is consistency. Make these environmental changes a permanent part of your bedtime routine, not just a one-off. The effects are cumulative. Over time, your body will associate this optimized environment with sleep, making it easier to drift off and stay asleep. Building on environmental optimization, our next crucial piece of advice for sleeping like a baby is to establish and stick to a consistent sleep schedule. This is perhaps one of the most powerful, yet often overlooked, tools in regulating your internal body clock, your circadian rhythm, which, as we discussed, becomes less robust with age. What does this mean? It means going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time every single day, including weekends. Yes, even weekends. While it might be tempting to catch up on sleep on Saturdays and Sundays, this actually throws your body's rhythm off, making it harder to fall asleep on Sunday night and contributing to what's known as social jet lag. For example, if you aim to go to bed at 10 p.m. and wake up at 6 a.m. on weekdays, try to stick as closely to those times as possible on your days off. The effect of this consistency is that your body learns to anticipate sleep and wakefulness, making it easier to naturally feel tired when it's time for bed and alert when it's time to wake up. Your hormones, body temperature, and other physiological processes will align to support this rhythm. An important note here: if you find yourself unable to fall asleep after about 20 minutes of being in bed, get up, go to another room, and do something quiet and relaxing in dim light. Read a book, listen to calming music until you feel sleepy again, then return to bed. Don't lie in bed stressing about not sleeping, as that only creates a negative association with your sleep space. The long-term effect of a consistent sleep schedule is a significantly improved quality of sleep, with more deep and REM sleep, leading to reduced daytime fatigue, improved cognitive function, and better mood regulation. It's a foundational pillar for truly restorative rest. Next up, let's talk about something many of us engage in right before bed, often without realizing the negative impact: managing your exposure to light, especially blue light, in the evening. Our modern lives are bathed in artificial light, and while convenient, it plays havoc with our sleep. Blue light emitted from screens like smartphones, tablets, computers, and even LED televisions is particularly disruptive. Why? Because blue light signals to our brain that it's daytime, suppressing the production of melatonin, that crucial sleep-inducing hormone. So, the advice is simple but critical: drastically reduce or eliminate screen time at least 1 to 2 hours before bed. Instead of scrolling through social media or watching late-night TV, opt for activities that promote relaxation and dim lighting. For example, switch to reading a physical book under a warm low-wattage lamp, listening to a podcast or soothing music, or engaging in a gentle, quiet hobby like knitting. If completely avoiding screens isn't possible, activate night mode or blue light filters on your devices, which shift the screen's color temperature to a warmer, more amber hue. The effect of this is that your brain receives the appropriate signals for nighttime, allowing melatonin production to ramp up naturally, preparing your body for sleep. An important note is to also consider the lighting in your home during the evening. Dim your lights, use softer, warmer bulbs, and avoid bright overhead lights in the hours leading up to bedtime. The consequence of consistently reducing evening blue light exposure is a smoother transition into sleep, less tossing and turning, and a deeper, more natural sleep cycle, as your body's internal clock aligns more effectively with the natural light-dark cycle. Beyond light, what we put into our bodies, especially in the hours leading up to sleep, profoundly impacts our ability to rest. So, our fourth piece of advice is to be mindful of your diet and avoid certain substances before bed. Specifically, we need to talk about caffeine, alcohol, and heavy meals. Caffeine, as most of us know, is a stimulant. While it might give you a morning boost, its effects can linger for many hours, even if you don't feel wired. A cup of coffee or a caffeinated soda in the late afternoon or evening can significantly interfere with your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep. The advice: limit caffeine intake to the morning hours, ideally cutting it off at least 6 to 8 hours before your planned bedtime. As for alcohol, while it might initially make you feel drowsy, it actually fragments sleep later in the night. It suppresses REM sleep, and as the alcohol is metabolized, it causes awakenings and a less restorative sleep. The advice: avoid alcohol within 3-4 hours of bedtime. And finally, heavy, rich, or spicy meals close to bedtime can cause digestive discomfort, acid reflux, and general discomfort that makes sleep impossible. Your body should be winding down, not working hard to digest a large meal. The advice: aim to have your last substantial meal at least 2-3 hours before bed. If you need a snack, opt for something light and easily digestible, like a small banana or a handful of almonds. The effect of these dietary adjustments is that your body isn't fighting against stimulants or digestive distress. allowing it to naturally settle into a state conducive to sleep. An important note here is to also consider hidden sources of caffeine, such as certain teas, chocolates, and even some pain relievers. By being conscious of what you consume and when, you remove significant barriers to peaceful, uninterrupted sleep, allowing your body to focus on rest and repair. Our next piece of practical advice centers around incorporating a relaxing bedtime routine. Just as children thrive on routines, so do adults, especially as we age. A consistent, calming sequence of activities before bed signals to your body and mind that it's time to wind down and prepare for sleep. This isn't about doing chores or engaging in stimulating activities, it's about creating a buffer zone between the day's stresses and the tranquility of sleep. What could this routine look like? It's highly personal, but here are some ideas. A warm bath or shower about 90 minutes before bed can be incredibly effective. The rise in body temperature followed by a natural cool down period mimics the body's natural sleep-inducing mechanism. Reading a physical book, remember, no screens, or listening to calming music or a guided meditation can quiet a racing mind. Gentle stretching or light yoga can release physical tension. You could even practice deep breathing exercises or progressive muscle relaxation. The important note here is consistency. Perform these activities in the same order, at roughly the same time each night. The effect of this routine is that it trains your brain to associate these activities with sleep, creating a powerful conditioned response. It helps to lower your heart rate, relax your muscles, and shift your mental state from active to restful. For example, if you typically unwind by watching TV until the last minute, try replacing that with 30 minutes of reading and a warm foot soak. Over time, you'll find yourself feeling sleepy naturally as you go through these steps. This practice helps to reduce anxiety around sleep, making it easier to drift off and enjoy deeper, more restorative rest, mitigating those issues of difficulty falling asleep and frequent awakenings. Let's shift our focus now to movement, specifically incorporating regular physical activity during the day, but being mindful of the timing. Exercise is incredibly beneficial for sleep, but there's a crucial nuance, especially for those over 50. Regular moderate-intensity exercise, such as brisk walking, swimming, cycling, or dancing, can significantly improve sleep quality and duration. It helps regulate your circadian rhythm, reduces stress and anxiety, which often interfere with sleep, and can even help alleviate symptoms of restless leg syndrome. The key is when you exercise. While morning or early afternoon exercise is generally ideal, vigorous exercise too close to bedtime can be counterproductive. The increase in heart rate, body temperature, and adrenaline can make it difficult to wind down. The advice: aim to complete your more vigorous workouts at least 3-4 hours before your planned bedtime. Lighter activities, like gentle stretching or a very slow walk, might be acceptable closer to bedtime, but listen to your body. For example, if you normally go for an intense gym session at 7 p.m. and plan to be in bed by 10 p.m., try shifting that workout to 4 p.m. or even earlier in the day. The effect of well-timed physical activity is that your body experiences beneficial fatigue and stress reduction, which promotes deeper, more restorative sleep. An important note: consistency is key here too. Even short, regular bursts of activity are more beneficial than sporadic, intense workouts. Always consult with your doctor before starting any new exercise regimen, especially if you have underlying health conditions. By integrating appropriate physical activity, you're not only improving your overall health, but also providing a powerful natural aid for achieving that much desired baby-like sleep. Another crucial element to address for improved sleep, particularly as we age, is managing stress and anxiety throughout the day. As we discussed earlier, a racing mind is a primary culprit behind difficulty falling asleep and frequent awakenings. Chronic stress keeps your body in a state of hyperarousal, making it incredibly difficult to transition into a restful state. The advice here isn't about eliminating stress, that's often impossible, but about developing effective coping mechanisms. Incorporate stress-reducing practices into your daily routine, not just before bed. This could include mindfulness meditation, even just 10-15 minutes a day, which trains your mind to be more present and less reactive to stressful thoughts. Deep breathing exercises can be performed throughout the day to calm your nervous system. Journaling can be a powerful way to offload worries and thoughts from your mind, especially if done earlier in the evening rather than right before bed. Engaging in hobbies or activities you enjoy can also be a form of stress relief. For example, if you find yourself constantly ruminating on work issues, designate a specific worry time earlier in the day to address them, and then consciously try to let them go as evening approaches. The effect of proactive stress management is a reduction in the cortisol levels that keep you awake and a greater sense of calm and control over your thoughts. An important note: if you find yourself overwhelmed by persistent anxiety or depression, please do not hesitate to seek professional help. A therapist or counselor can provide valuable strategies and support. By learning to manage stress, you create a more peaceful internal environment, making it far easier to drift off to sleep and stay asleep, truly addressing those restless nights and early morning awakenings. For those experiencing more specific issues like restless leg syndrome, sleep apnea, or chronic pain that disrupts sleep, our next advice is to consult with your healthcare provider for a thorough evaluation and potential medical interventions. While lifestyle changes are incredibly powerful, some sleep issues require professional diagnosis and treatment. For example, if you suspect you have sleep apnea, characterized by loud snoring, gasping for air, or persistent daytime fatigue despite getting seemingly enough sleep, a sleep study might be necessary. Treatment could involve a CPAP machine, which delivers continuous positive airway pressure to keep your airway open. The effect of treating sleep apnea is often dramatic, leading to immediate improvements in sleep quality, energy levels, and even cardiovascular health. Similarly, if chronic pain from conditions like arthritis is consistently waking you up, your doctor can help optimize your pain management strategy, perhaps exploring different medications, physical therapy, or even alternative therapies. For restless leg syndrome, characterized by an irresistible urge to move your legs, often accompanied by uncomfortable sensations, there are specific medications and lifestyle adjustments that can provide significant relief. The important note here is not to self-diagnose or self-treat. Many sleep disorders have overlapping symptoms, and a proper diagnosis from a qualified medical professional is essential for effective treatment. Ignoring these underlying medical conditions can lead to severe long-term health consequences, whereas addressing them proactively can be life-changing, allowing you to finally get the deep, restorative sleep you've been missing, and alleviating many of those persistent signs and symptoms we discussed earlier. Let's also talk about optimizing your bedroom temperature. This is a subtle yet significant factor that can dramatically impact your sleep quality, especially for individuals over 50. As we age, our thermoregulation, our body's ability to control its temperature, can become less efficient, making us more sensitive to extremes of heat or cold during the night. A room that is too warm can lead to tossing and turning, night sweats, and fragmented sleep, while a room that is too cold can also disrupt the sleep cycle. The ideal temperature range for most adults, including those over 50, is generally between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 to 19 degrees Celsius. The advice: ensure your bedroom is comfortably cool and well ventilated. You might need to adjust your thermostat, use a fan, or open a window slightly if safe and quiet enough. Consider your bedding too. Use breathable materials like cotton and layer blankets so you can easily add or remove them as needed throughout the night. For example, if you find yourself waking up feeling hot and sweaty, even in the middle of winter, your room might be too warm, or your blankets too heavy. Try lowering the thermostat a few degrees or switching to lighter pajamas. The effect of maintaining an optimal sleep temperature is that your body can more easily enter and stay in the deeper, more restorative stages of sleep. A comfortable core body temperature is essential for uninterrupted rest. An important note: individual preferences vary, so experiment within that recommended range to find what feels best for you. This simple adjustment can lead to surprisingly significant improvements in how quickly you fall asleep, how long you stay asleep, and how refreshed you feel in the morning, directly addressing those issues of frequent awakenings and difficulty maintaining sleep. Finally, as part of our comprehensive approach to sleep for those over 50, let's emphasize the importance of being mindful of your napping habits. While a short, strategic nap can be beneficial for some, especially younger adults, for those over 50 struggling with nighttime sleep, excessive or poorly timed napping can actually exacerbate the problem. A long nap during the day, or a nap too close to bedtime, can reduce your sleep drive, making it harder to fall asleep at night. Your body hasn't accumulated enough sleep debt to be ready for a full night's rest. The advice: if you must nap, keep it short, ideally 20-30 minutes, and schedule it for the early afternoon, for example, between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. Avoid napping after 3 p.m. if you aim to be in bed by 9 or 10 p.m. For instance, if you find yourself feeling sluggish around 4 p.m. and habitually take a 2-hour nap, try to resist that urge. Instead, go for a brisk walk or engage in a stimulating activity to push through that dip in energy. The effect of strategic napping, or avoiding it altogether if it disrupts nighttime sleep, is that it allows your body to build up enough sleep pressure to facilitate a solid, uninterrupted night of sleep. An important note: this advice is particularly crucial for those already experiencing chronic insomnia or fragmented sleep at night. If you're consistently getting good sleep at night, a short, early afternoon nap might not be problematic for you. However, if you're struggling, limiting or adjusting your napping habits can be a powerful tool to reinforce healthy nighttime sleep patterns, directly improving issues with difficulty falling asleep and early morning awakenings. So, we've covered a lot of ground today, from understanding the subtle and significant signs of age-related sleep disruption to implementing practical, actionable solutions. The journey to sleeping like a baby when you're over 50 isn't about a single magic pill or a quick fix. It's about a holistic approach, a commitment to understanding your body and making consistent, positive changes. We've talked about difficulty falling asleep, frequent awakenings, waking up too early, persistent daytime fatigue, cognitive decline, mood disturbances, loss of energy and motivation, a weaker immune system, unexplained weight gain, increased blood pressure, and decreased physical recovery. These aren't just isolated nuisances. They are interconnected indicators that your body is craving the restorative power of quality sleep. The significance of early recognition of these signs cannot be overstated. Don't dismiss them as simply getting older. By paying attention to these cues, you empower yourself to intervene before minor sleep issues escalate into chronic problems with far reaching consequences for your health and well-being. And the solutions we've discussed: optimizing your sleep environment, sticking to a consistent sleep schedule, managing light exposure, being mindful of diet, creating a relaxing bedtime routine, incorporating smart exercise, managing stress, consulting healthcare providers when needed, optimizing bedroom temperature, and being strategic about napping. These are not complex prescriptions. They are practical home-based strategies that, when applied consistently, can profoundly transform your nights and, by extension, your days. We urge you, truly, to take proactive steps to protect your sleep. It's not a luxury, it's a fundamental pillar of health, just as important as diet and exercise. By embracing these changes, you're not just aiming for better sleep, you're changing to a positive lifestyle that will enhance every aspect of your life. Imagine waking up feeling refreshed, energetic, and mentally sharp, ready to engage with the world, pursue your passions, and enjoy your relationships. Imagine a stronger immune system, a healthier heart, and a more stable mood. This isn't a pipe dream, it's an achievable reality. The main message here is clear: prioritize your sleep, understand its crucial role in healthy aging, and take deliberate action to nurture it. You have the power to influence your sleep quality, even as you age. It takes dedication and consistency, but the rewards: a more vibrant, energetic, and fulfilling life, are immeasurable. Thank you so much for watching this entire video and for investing this time in your health. Your commitment to learning and improving your well-being is truly inspiring. If you found this information valuable, please do us a huge favor. Subscribe to the Body Revival channel, turn on those notifications, and don't miss out on our next videos on vital health topics. We're here to support you every step of the way on your journey to optimal health. Until next time, we wish you truly good health and look forward to seeing you again. Sleep well and live well.